Chosen one, why does it feel like you've been waiting your entire life for something you can't even name? Why does every door you knock on seem to echo back, "Not yet"? And why right now, this very second, does your chest feel tight, like something ancient is about to crack wide open? Chosen one, can you feel it? The air itself is different this morning, heavier, charged, like the moment before lightning splits the sky. This isn't coincidence. You didn't stumble onto this message, you were summoned. Look outside your window. Somewhere, right now, the sun is breaking through clouds that have hung over your life for months, maybe years. That light? It's not just meteorological. It's prophetic. This is not just another Sunday. This is the big Sunday. Heaven's calendar has circled your name in red ink. The angels who've been watching your struggle, counting your tears, recording every midnight prayer you thought went unheard, they've been waiting for this day. And here's what they know, that you're just beginning to sense. Your season of almost is over. Right now, and I mean right now, there's a stirring in your chest. Don't dismiss it. Don't rationalize it. That's not anxiety. That's not your imagination running wild at dawn. That's alignment. Your frequency is matching heaven's broadcast. Your spirit is tuning into a transmission that's been traveling toward you since before you were born. If you feel goosebumps on your arms, if you feel heat behind your eyes, if something inside you just whispered finally, then you're exactly where you're supposed to be. Comment Amen right now. Don't scroll. Don't hesitate. Let your faith mark this moment. Speak it into existence. Before we go further, I want to say something from my heart. Thank you. To every single one of you who has supported this message through Super Thanks, your generosity means more than you know. You're not just giving. You're sowing seeds into a harvest you may never see with your own eyes. You're lighting torches for people stumbling in darkness, people who feel utterly alone in their calling. Whether you give or not, I'm deeply grateful. Your presence here, your time, your attention, your open heart, it all matters. And if this message is already stirring something deep in your soul, go ahead. Let that be your first act of alignment today. Now, what I'm about to tell you will sound impossible, but that's how miracles always sound until they land in your living room. The Big Sunday isn't about what you'll do. It's about what heaven is about to release. And you, chosen one, you're standing at ground zero. How many decades have you carried a promise that never came? How many midnight hours did you whisper into the darkness, "God, are you still there?" only to wake up to the same unanswered prayer? How many times, be honest with me now, how many times did you wonder if you missed your moment entirely? Because here's what nobody talks about in church. Here's the truth that sits heavy in the pews every Sunday morning. You've been faithful. You've been obedient. You've planted seeds. You've sown in tears. You've kept your lamp burning when everyone around you let theirs go dark, and yet the harvest you were promised, the breakthrough you were told to expect, it feels like it belongs to everyone else's testimony but yours. I know what you've been carrying, the weight of it, the exhaustion that comes not from lack of faith, but from years of faith that seem to lead nowhere. You prayed for your children. Some of them still haven't come home. You prayed for provision, and you've watched pennies instead of abundance. You prayed for healing, for restoration, for the vindication that would finally prove to everyone who doubted you that God hadn't forgotten your name. But the silence has been deafening, hasn't it? Let me take you somewhere deep in Scripture where God does his most mysterious work. Habakkuk 2-3 says, "For the vision awaits its appointed time, it hastens to the end, it will not lie. If it seems slow, wait for it, it will surely come." Read that again. If it seems slow, God knew. He knew you'd be sitting here decades later, wondering if the promise expired. He knew you'd question whether you heard him correctly in the first place. He knew you'd feel buried. But here's the twist that changes everything. You weren't buried, beloved. You were planted. And there's a universe of difference between those two words. When something is buried, it's finished, done, over. But when something is planted, it's being prepared for resurrection. It's being positioned for breakthrough. Every year you waited in the dark wasn't wasted, it was rooting you. Think about the seed. When a farmer plants it in the ground, it doesn't sprout immediately. It doesn't see sunlight for weeks. It sits in cold, dark soil, surrounded by nothing but dirt and silence. And if that seed could think, it would probably ask the same question you've been asking. Did I miss my season? Is this where I die? But beneath the surface, where no one can see, something extraordinary is happening. Roots are growing. Deep, unshakable roots that will one day hold up something so beautiful, so abundant, that everyone who walks by will stop and stare and ask, how did that grow here? That's you. That's been you this entire time. The Big Friday, the one that prepared the ground, the one that looked like total defeat, total abandonment, that wasn't the end of the story, that was the setup. Heaven wasn't ignoring your prayers. Heaven was staging your miracle. And now we've arrived at the big Sunday, the day the stone rolls away, the day what looked dead stands up and walks out of the tomb. Psalm 46:10 tells us, "Be still and know that I am God." Not be still and wonder if I forgot you. Not be still and assume it's over. Be still and know, with certainty, with unshakable confidence, that the God who called you, the God who marked you, the God who circled your name before the foundation of the world, He does not abandon His investments. You've been in the waiting season, but let me tell you what that season was really about. It wasn't punishment. It wasn't delay for delay's sake. It was preparation. God was removing every shallow root, every false foundation, every relationship and resource that would have collapsed under the weight of what He's about to release. Because what's coming isn't small. What's coming isn't something you could have handled 20 years ago. What's coming requires the version of you that's been refined in the fire, tested in the wilderness, and proven in the darkness. Isaiah 43:19 declares, "Behold, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs forth. Do you not perceive it? Do you perceive it?" Right now, in this moment, can you feel the shift? That stirring in your spirit isn't nostalgia. It isn't wishful thinking. That's the sound of heaven's movement. That's the rumble before the earthquake. That's the breath before the resurrection shout. Your waiting wasn't in vain. Every tear you cried was collected. Every prayer you prayed was recorded. Every moment you felt invisible, God saw you. He was never not working. He was never not moving. He was orchestrating something so specific, so perfectly timed, that when it arrives, there will be no question who authored it. The fatigue you feel, that's the last mile, the darkest hour, that's right before dawn. The moment you wanted to quit, that was the moment before the breakthrough. And here's what I need you to understand as we move forward. The Big Sunday isn't just a date on the calendar. It's not just poetic language to make you feel better. The Big Sunday is your moment. The appointed time Habakkuk wrote about. It's here. The new thing Isaiah prophesied. It's springing forth, but you have to recognize it when it arrives. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you exactly what this miracle looks like. I'm going to give you the signs, not vague, mystical symbols, but specific markers, so that when heaven moves, you won't miss it. You won't second-guess it. You won't talk yourself out of receiving it. Because the enemy's greatest weapon right now isn't making you doubt God. It's making you doubt that God would move for you, that the miracle would come to your address, that after all this time, you'd be the one who gets the testimony. But you need to hear this, and you need to let it sink deep into your bones. Your name is on the delivery. The Big Sunday has arrived, and the miracle you've been waiting for, it's already in motion. Listen to me carefully. This Sunday is not another date on your kitchen calendar. This is not another routine morning where you brew coffee, flip through the newspaper, and wonder if anything will ever really change. This Sunday is the fulfillment of prophecy you forgot you even prayed. You remember those nights, don't you? Those 3 a.m. moments when you couldn't sleep, when you whispered into the darkness, "God, when? When will you move? When will you answer?" You prayed those prayers so long ago that you stopped expecting heaven to respond. You chalked it up to wishful thinking. You told yourself maybe you misheard. Maybe you weren't meant for miracles after all. But here's what you didn't know. Heaven never forgets a single prayer, not one. Every word you spoke into that darkness was recorded, time-stamped, filed under appointed fulfillment. And the appointment is this Sunday. Let me take you back 2,000 years. Picture this. It's Friday afternoon in Jerusalem. The sky turns black at noon. The earth convulses. A mother watches her son die on Roman wood. His followers scatter like frightened sheep. Everything they believed shattered. Every promise he made buried behind a 2-ton stone sealed with Roman authority. Saturday comes. Silence. The kind of silence that crushes hope. But then Sunday arrived. They thought the tomb was sealed. They thought death had the final word. They thought their waiting was wasted. But Sunday came. The stone didn't crack, it rolled. Death didn't negotiate, it surrendered. What looked like an ending was actually the greatest beginning in human history. This Sunday, the stone rolls. Now walk with me further back. Abraham is 99 years old. Sarah is 89. They've waited 25 years for a promise God made them. 25 years of empty cradles and pitying glances from neighbors. 25 years of wondering if they heard wrong, if they were foolish to believe. When God finally tells them the baby is coming, Sarah laughs. Not the laugh of joy, the bitter laugh of impossibility. She's thinking about her brittle bones, her aged body, her decades of disappointment. But God doesn't rescind promises because you're too old to believe them anymore. 9 months later, Isaac is born. His name literally means laughter because their cynicism became their testimony. Time cannot cancel what God has declared. You think you're too old. You think you've waited too long. You think your body, your circumstances, your age disqualifies you from witnessing the supernatural. You are not too old to witness new miracles. You are qualified by the years you endured. Every season you survived, every betrayal you outlasted, every diagnosis you defied, every loss that should have destroyed you but didn't, that wasn't endurance training for nothing. That was preparation. God was making you ready for this Sunday. This Sunday. The silence breaks. Let me tell you about Anna. She's in Luke chapter 2, 84 years old, widowed after just 7 years of marriage. She spent the next 6 decades in the temple, fasting, praying, waiting for the Messiah to come. 6 decades of the same routine, same prayers, same vigil. Do you know how many people told her to give up? How many younger folks probably whispered, "Poor Anna, wasting her life in that temple"? How many times did she question herself, "Will I die before I see what God promised?" But she didn't leave. She didn't quit. She kept showing up. And one random Tuesday morning, a young couple walks into the temple with their infant son. Anna sees them, and the Holy Spirit erupts inside her 84-year-old frame. She knows this is him. This is the redemption she waited for. She didn't miss it. After 60 years, she didn't miss the moment by even a single day. And you won't either. This Sunday, the waiting ends. Here's what I need you to understand. Your age is not your disqualification, it's your authority. You've seen enough false alarms to recognize the real thing. You've survived enough winters to know when spring is genuinely breaking through. Your decades aren't baggage, they're credentials. When God moves on this Sunday, it won't be for the skeptics or the casual observers. It'll be for the ones who held on when letting go made more logical sense. It'll be for the ones whose faith was forged in furnaces, whose hope was hammered on anvils of waiting. That's you. Right now, if you feel something rising in your chest, if you feel like crying and you don't even know why, that's not random emotion. That's your spirit aligning with what heaven already knows. Your internal frequency is matching the broadcast that's been traveling toward you through time itself. Type "I receive it" in the comments right now. I'm serious. Don't be passive, don't be polite. Declare your alignment with heaven. Speak it into the atmosphere. Let your faith leave a mark on this moment. Because here's the truth that will wreck you. This Sunday isn't about what you will do. It's about what heaven is about to release. Your job isn't to make the miracle happen. Your job is to be standing in the right spot when it lands. And you are. Every wrong turn that redirected you, every closed door that frustrated you, every delay that infuriated you, they weren't punishments. They were positioning. God was moving you inch by inch, year by year, to the exact coordinates where this Sunday's miracle has your name on it. The stone is already moving. Can you hear it grinding against the earth? The silence is already cracking. Can you feel the shift in pressure? The waiting is already ending. Can you sense the finish line? So let me ask you directly. What if you're not tired? What if you're ready? What if all those years weren't wasted? What if they were required? What if this Sunday isn't just another day? What if it's the day your entire life has been pointing toward? What if the miracle isn't coming? What if it's already here, right now, while you're sitting in your chair, while your coffee's getting cold on the table beside you, while the world outside your window moves at its usual pace? Something extraordinary is happening in the invisible realm. Behind the curtain of your ordinary Sunday morning, angels are rearranging destinies. They're moving pieces on a chessboard you can't see. They're opening doors you didn't know existed. They're whispering your name into the ears of people you haven't met yet, people who carry the keys to your next chapter. You can't see it with your natural eyes, but your spirit knows. That's why you woke up different today. That's why there's a heaviness in the atmosphere, a thickness you can almost taste. That's why your chest feels warm, like someone lit a candle inside your ribcage. This isn't anxiety, beloved. This is activation. Let me tell you what's really happening to you right now. That restlessness you've been feeling for weeks, that sleeplessness that keeps you staring at the ceiling at 3 a.m., that unexplainable loneliness even when you're surrounded by people. The world calls it insomnia. The world calls it depression. The world wants to give you a pill and send you home. But heaven calls it something else entirely. Heaven calls it preparation. In Exodus 14:14, God told his people something that will wreck your theology. The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still. Do you hear that? You don't need to fight anymore. You don't need to force doors open. You don't need to convince anyone of your worth. You need to be still, because while you've been still, while you've been waiting, while you've been doubting, while you've been wondering if God forgot your address, he's been working. And the big Sunday is the day it all comes together. Listen to me carefully. That peace that's starting to replace your panic, that's not coincidence. Those small moments that keep stacking up, the phone call that came at exactly the right time, the check in the mail you weren't expecting, the apology from someone who hurt you years ago, those aren't accidents. Those are divine confirmations. God is sending you evidence. He's leaving breadcrumbs. He's saying, I'm here, I'm moving, and I haven't forgotten you. You know what the big Sunday really is? It's heaven's resuscitation. It's CPR to every dream you buried. It's the defibrillator paddles pressed against every forgotten promise. Clear. Boom. Your spirit jolts back to life. For months, maybe years, you felt flatlined. You felt like that heart monitor went silent. No purpose, no passion, no reason to get up in the morning except habit and obligation. But right now, beloved, listen. Can you hear it? Beep, beep, beep. Your spirit's heart monitor is beeping again. Purpose has a pulse. Now I need you to understand something that's going to challenge everything the enemy has been whispering in your ear. He's been telling you it's too late. He's been telling you that you're too old, too tired, too broken, too far behind. But Psalm 126:5 destroys that lie with one sentence. Those who sow with tears will reap with songs of joy. Did you catch that? Will reap. Not might, not maybe, not if you're lucky. Will. Every tear you've cried has been a seed. Every night you've sobbed into your pillow, every prayer you've whispered through gritted teeth, every moment you chose to keep believing when everything told you to quit, those were seeds going into sacred soil. And the big Sunday. This is harvest day. This is not hype, chosen one. This is not motivational fluff. This is not me trying to make you feel good for 11 minutes so you'll click the like button. This is harvest. But here's what most people miss. Here's where the enemy does his best work. He convinces you that the harvest will look like what you planted. He makes you think you'll reap tears because you sowed tears. That's not how God's economy works. You sowed tears, you'll reap joy. You sowed loneliness, you'll reap connection. You sowed financial lack, you'll reap provision you can't even imagine right now. Joel 2:25 says, I will repay you for the years the locusts have eaten. God doesn't just restore what you lost, He repays you. That means He gives you back more than was taken. That means He adds interest. That means your latter days will be greater than your former days. But you have to receive it. You have to open your hands. You have to stop clenching your fists around your pain and your disappointment and your "I knew it wouldn't work out" attitude. The miracle is in motion. But you're standing at the door wondering if you should open it. Open it. That opportunity that seems too good to be true. That invitation that feels like it came out of nowhere. That sudden burst of energy you haven't felt in years. That random moment of clarity when the fog lifted and you could finally see. That's the miracle knocking. And here's what I need you to understand before we go any further. There's one phrase, one sentence that God gave me specifically for you. Not for everyone watching. For you. The one who almost clicked away 3 minutes ago. The one who's been hurt so many times that hope feels dangerous. The one who's sitting there right now with tears running down your face because you didn't know anyone understood. This phrase is the key that unlocks everything. It's the password to your breakthrough. It's the sentence that will make sense of every single thing you've walked through. But I can't give it to you yet. Because if I give it to you now, you'll miss the context. You'll miss the foundation. You'll miss the why behind the what. And beloved, the why is everything. So here's what I'm asking you to do. Don't leave. Don't scroll. Don't let distraction steal your miracle. Because what comes next will change everything. What comes next is the moment heaven has been building toward. And you, chosen one, you're about to find out why you've been chosen in the first place. Let me tell you something they don't preach about on Sunday morning. Something that makes pastors uncomfortable. Something that makes the prosperity gospel crowd change the channel. The truth is this. God doesn't give His biggest miracles to His most comfortable children. He gives them to the ones He's been breaking, refining, forging in fires so hot that everyone else would have walked away. You know what I'm talking about, don't you? You've been in that fire. You're still feeling the heat on your skin right now. That delay you've been cursing, that wasn't punishment, chosen one. That was preservation. See, what you wanted 3 years ago, you weren't ready for it. What you begged heaven for last winter would have destroyed you if it arrived on your timeline. God wasn't withholding. He was protecting. He was building capacity in you that you didn't even know you needed. Let me get real specific here, because I know who's watching this right now. I know some of you are sitting at your kitchen table this morning, staring at pill bottles lined up like soldiers. 7 prescriptions. You're doing the math in your head. Medication or groceries. You can't afford both. Medicare doesn't cover everything they promised it would, does it? And that pharmacist looks at you with pity now, not respect. I know some of you haven't heard your grown children's voices in weeks, maybe months. They're busy, they say. They've got their own lives. You raised them, sacrificed everything, and now you're the afterthought, the obligation, the guilt call on holidays. I know some of you are walking through rooms that used to be filled with laughter, and now they're just quiet. The chair across from you at dinner stays empty. The bed feels too big. The silence is so loud it keeps you up at night. You thought nobody saw that, but heaven has been counting. Job sat in ashes, scraping his sores with broken pottery, and his own wife told him to curse God and die. He lost his children, his wealth, his health, his reputation. Everything that made him him in the eyes of the world gone. But here's what nobody tells you about Job. God trusted him with that suffering. Read that again. God trusted him. The devil himself said, Job only loves you because you protect him. Take that away and he'll curse you. And God said, you don't know my servant Job. Go ahead, test him. He can handle what's coming. That's not cruelty. That's cosmic confidence. God knew Job's foundation was solid enough to withstand the earthquake. And chosen one. He knows the same thing about you. Joseph was 17 years old when his brothers sold him into slavery. 17. He spent 13 years in Egypt, falsely accused, forgotten in prison, watching year after year tick by while God stayed silent. But Genesis 50:20 says, you intended to harm me, but God intended it for good to accomplish what is now being done, the saving of many lives. The pit wasn't the end. The pit was preparation. Moses spent 40 years in the wilderness, thinking his purpose had died. He was 80 years old, 80, when God showed up in a burning bush and said, now you're ready. Anna the prophetess was widowed after just 7 years of marriage. She spent the next 60+ years in the temple, fasting and praying, waiting for a promise nobody else believed anymore. And at 84 years old, she got to hold the Messiah in her arms. 84 years of waiting, one moment of fulfillment that made it all worth it. You see the pattern, don't you? God doesn't waste your pain. He doesn't waste your tears. He doesn't waste your lonely nights or your empty bank account or your aching joints or your silent phone. Psalm 56:8 says, you have collected all my tears in your bottle. You have recorded each one in your book. Heaven counts your tears like currency. And today, chosen one, the payout arrives. Every sleepless night you spent wondering if God forgot you banked. Every time you chose faith when your logic screamed otherwise banked. Every Sunday you dragged yourself to church, even though your body hurt and your heart was numb banked. Every time you whispered, I trust you through gritted teeth when you didn't feel it banked. You thought you were just surviving. You thought you were barely holding on. You thought you were failing because it hurt so much. But you weren't surviving. You were being sanctified. You weren't falling apart. You were being refined. You weren't being punished. You were being prepared for something so big that the old version of you couldn't have carried it. See, most people want the anointing without the wilderness. They want the crown without the cross. They want Resurrection Sunday without Good Friday. But you, chosen one, you've walked through your Good Friday. You've carried your cross up the hill. You felt the weight of it pressing into your shoulders until you thought your knees would buckle. And now it's Sunday morning. The stone is rolling away. What was buried is about to walk out into sunlight. Here's what the enemy doesn't want you to know. The depth of your testing reveals the height of your calling. The harder the process, the greater the purpose. The longer the wait, the bigger the miracle. God doesn't take 70 years to prepare someone for a 70-day assignment. He doesn't put you through decades of fire to give you something you could have handled back when you were comfortable. No, He's been building something in you that this world has never seen before. An authority, a resilience, a faith so unshakable that when you walk into the room, atmospheres shift. You've been wondering when your breakthrough would come. But chosen one, you are the breakthrough. The miracle isn't just coming to you. The miracle is coming through you. And that's why this Sunday is different. That's why the air feels electric. That's why your spirit has been restless all week. Because heaven just opened the vault, and your name is on the withdrawal slip. So here's my question for you, and answer this honestly, because eternity is listening. Are you ready to stop surviving and start reigning? Listen to me, chosen one. What I'm about to say isn't motivational fluff. This isn't some feel-good Sunday sermon you forget by Monday morning. This is a declaration over your life that heaven has already signed, sealed, and stamped with the blood of the Lamb. You are walking into answered prayers that have been waiting for this exact hour. Not tomorrow, not next week, not when you finally get it together. Right now, the phone call you stopped expecting. It's dialing. The letter you gave up checking the mailbox for. It's in transit. The healing the doctors said was impossible. It's already moving through your bloodstream like fire through dry grass. The reconciliation you buried under years of hurt. Someone is picking up the phone to say the words you never thought you'd hear. Do you understand what I'm telling you? Heaven didn't forget your address. It just waited until the crowd cleared so it could find you alone. Because this miracle, it's not for public consumption. This isn't a spectacle for the doubters or the mockers who walked away when your faith looked foolish. This is intimate. This is personal. This is between you and the God who kept count of every tear you cried into your pillow at 3 a.m. when nobody was watching. Psalm 56:8 says, "You keep track of all my sorrows. You have collected all my tears in your bottle. You have recorded each one in your book." Each one. Not the pretty prayers you prayed in church. Not the poetic words you posted online. The ugly ones. The desperate ones. The ones where you couldn't even form sentences. Just groans too deep for words. Those prayers. They've been accumulating interest in heaven's bank. And today, the big Sunday, the withdrawal is being processed. But here's what you need to understand. This miracle isn't coming the way you rehearsed it. You've been standing at the front door waiting, and heaven's coming through the kitchen window. You've been watching for a chariot, and God sent a skateboard. You've been expecting a symphony, and He's sending a whisper. The question is, are you paying attention? Because right now, yes, right now doors are swinging open in places you never knocked. Chains you didn't even know were wrapped around your destiny are falling to the ground with a sound like thunder. Your name is being spoken in rooms you've never entered, by people you've never met, in conversations that are rearranging your entire future. And you're sitting there wondering why you feel so restless. That's not anxiety, beloved. That's acceleration. That tightness in your chest. That's not stress. That's your spirit expanding to hold what's about to be poured into it. You're not breaking down. You're breaking through. Think about stained glass. Worthless by itself, just broken, colored fragments that cut your hands if you're not careful. But when light breaks through it, when the sun hits it at just the right angle, it becomes transcendent. It becomes art. It becomes something people travel miles to witness. You've been broken glass, chosen one. But the big Sunday is the moment when light finally breaks through you, and the world sees what God has been creating in the dark. This is heaven's encore to your faithfulness. Every time you chose obedience when rebellion would have been easier, every time you blessed someone who cursed you, every time you tithed when your bank account was screaming, every time you worshipped through the wilderness, every time you said yes when your flesh was screaming no, God kept the receipts. And today He's saying, I see you. I've always seen you. And now I'm going to make sure everyone else sees you too. If you feel this word vibrating in your spirit right now, if something inside you just stood at attention, type "This is my Sunday" in the comments. Stake your claim. Mark this moment. Let your faith become your witness. But I need you to understand something crucial. What's happening right now isn't just for you. It's through you. You're not the destination, you're the conduit. God isn't blessing you so you can hoard it. He's blessing you so you can pour it. Think about an orchestra. The entire symphony builds and builds, every instrument adding layer upon layer of sound, tension mounting, crescendo approaching, and then, right before the final note, there's a pause. A heartbeat of silence where the whole universe holds its breath. You're in that pause right now. Your heartbeat is syncing with eternity. Your frequency is locking into heaven's rhythm. And when the final note drops, when this miracle fully manifests, the sound will shatter every limitation, every label, every lie the enemy ever whispered in your ear. Romans 8:28 doesn't say some things work together for good. It says all things work together for good to those who love God, to those who are called according to His purpose. All things. The betrayals, the bankruptcies, the diagnoses, the divorces, the disappointments. Every single thing that tried to kill you, God's been weaving it into a tapestry you won't fully see until you're standing on the other side of this miracle. And here's the truth that will wreck you. You're not waiting anymore. You're not believing for anymore. You're not standing in faith anymore. You are standing inside the miracle, right now, this second. The miracle isn't approaching, you're in it. You're breathing miracle air. You're walking on miracle ground. The very fact that you're hearing these words, that your heart is pounding, that something inside you is shouting, yes, that's the miracle already manifesting. So stop waiting for permission. Stop waiting for confirmation. Stop waiting for it to make sense. The big Sunday has arrived, and it brought your name with it. But here's the question that will determine what happens next. What are you going to do with this moment now that you're standing in the center of it? Chosen one. Yesterday, heaven moved. But today heaven is echoing. You feel it, don't you? That strange, lingering presence in your bedroom this morning. The way the light came through your window at a different angle. The way your first breath felt cleaner, sharper, like you were breathing for the first time in years. This isn't nostalgia. This isn't your mind playing tricks on you. This is the afterglow of divine intervention. Think about it like this. When lightning strikes the ground, the earth doesn't just return to normal. There's a charge left behind. The grass remembers. The soil hums with residual power. Scientists can measure it days later, electrons still dancing, particles still vibrating at a frequency they weren't vibrating at before. That's what happened to you yesterday. The big Sunday struck, and you're still humming. It's like the sea after a hurricane. The storm has passed, yes, the sky has cleared. But the waves, they're still rolling. Gentler now, but different. The rhythm has changed. The current beneath the surface knows something happened. The water remembers the wind. Your soul remembers yesterday. Did you notice it this morning when you poured your coffee? The way it tasted different, richer, warmer, like it was made with intention instead of habit. Did you notice how the silence in your kitchen didn't feel empty anymore? How it felt full. That's not psychological. That's not wishful thinking. That's confirmation. See, most people think miracles are like fireworks, loud, bright, explosive, and then gone. Over in seconds, back to normal. Back to the same struggling, same waiting, same wondering if God even heard you. But that's not how heaven operates. When God moves, he doesn't just visit, he remains. Look at Exodus 40-34, 3-5. When the glory of the Lord filled the tabernacle, Moses couldn't even enter. The presence was so thick, so tangible, so heavy, that it didn't dissipate when the ceremony ended. It stayed. The priests had to learn how to live and work inside the glow. You're learning that right now. The big Sunday didn't end when the clock struck midnight. It began. What you experienced yesterday wasn't the climax, it was the ignition. And here's what nobody tells you about miracles. They don't just change your circumstances, they change your frequency. They alter your spiritual DNA. They recalibrate the way you perceive reality itself. You've been upgraded. Your prayers don't sound the same anymore, do they? There's a confidence in them now, a knowing. When you said Amen this morning, it didn't feel like hope, it felt like expectation. That's because something inside you has aligned with something outside of time. But let me ask you something that might make you uncomfortable. What happens now? What happens when divine power lingers long enough to change you at the cellular level? What happens when you've been touched by eternity, but you still have to live in a world that runs on deadlines and bills and doctor's appointments? This is where most people stumble. They experience the breakthrough. They feel the shift. They wake up glowing with that unexplainable peace. And then 2 days later, 3 days later, they start doubting. They start asking, was that real? Did I imagine it? Why do I still have the same problems? Listen to me carefully. The echo of a miracle is not weaker than the miracle itself. It's deeper. The initial strike gets your attention. The echo transforms you. Think about the apostles after Pentecost. Acts 2 tells us the Holy Spirit came like a rushing wind, tongues of fire, the whole dramatic entrance. But read Acts 3, Acts 4, Acts 5. The real power wasn't in the spectacle, it was in what happened after. Peter healing the lame man, boldness in front of the Sanhedrin, Ananias and Sapphira falling dead because the atmosphere had become that charged with holiness. The echo was more dangerous than the event. And right now, you're in the echo. Your enemies don't know it yet. Your circumstances haven't caught up. Your bank account hasn't reflected it. But heaven has already shifted the boards beneath your feet. The miracle landed yesterday. The manifestation is unfolding today, tomorrow, next week. You're not waiting for something to happen anymore. You're walking through something that's already in motion. But here's the test. Will you honor the echo? Will you treat this morning's peace as sacred? Or will you let the world's noise drown it out by noon? Will you protect this new frequency, or will you tune back into fear because it's more familiar? Job 33:14 says, God speaks once, yea twice, yet man perceives it not. The first word is the miracle. The second word is the echo. Most people miss the second one because they're looking for another lightning strike instead of listening for the thunder rolling through the valleys. Don't be most people. You didn't survive everything you survived just to settle back into ordinary. You didn't cry all those tears, pray all those desperate prayers, endure all those long nights, just to let this moment slip through your fingers like water. The air still feels different because you are different. Your DNA has been rewritten. Your frequency has been recalibrated. Your name is now vibrating at a pitch that heaven recognizes before you even open your mouth. Type still glowing right now if you woke up with that unexplainable peace. Don't overthink it. Don't analyze it. Just acknowledge it. Because that acknowledgement, that's you choosing to honor the echo. That's you saying, yes, God, I feel you still here. I'm not letting go. I'm not going back. The world will try to normalize you. It will try to convince you that yesterday was a fluke, an emotional high, a temporary relief that won't last. But the echo doesn't lie. And deep in your chest, beneath the doubt, beneath the fear, beneath the old patterns trying to resurrect themselves, there's a hum, a frequency, a knowing. Heaven is still here. So let me ask you this, and I want you to sit with this question for a moment. If the miracle has already touched down, if the power is already in the room, if your transformation has already begun, what are you going to do with a life that's been marked by eternity? Listen to me carefully, chosen one. The earth shakes once. The building trembles. The ground cracks open. But it's the aftershocks that reveal just how powerful the earthquake truly was. Right now, in this very moment, you're feeling it. That tremor in your chest, that divine dizziness washing over you like waves you can't quite steady yourself against. That strange sensation that the room around you is the same, but you are fundamentally different. This isn't weakness. This isn't your age catching up with you. This isn't fatigue from too many sleepless nights. This is the aftershock of heaven's frequency still vibrating in your bones. The miracle didn't just happen to you, it happened inside you. And now the atmosphere of your entire being is recalibrating to match what God just released. You thought it was confusion, but it's clarity being born in real time. You thought it was exhaustion, but it's transformation tearing down the old framework of who you used to be. You thought maybe you imagined the whole thing. But listen, aftershocks don't come from imagination. They come from seismic reality. Let me take you to Mount Sinai. Exodus 34. Moses comes down from the mountain after 40 days in the presence of God. His face is glowing, radiating light so intense that the people are terrified to come near him. He has to wear a veil just so they can look at him. Now ask yourself, did Moses do something to make his face shine? No. He simply stood in the presence of the Almighty, and the residue of that encounter marked him permanently. That's what's happening to you right now. You've been in the presence, you've stood at the threshold, And whether you can see it or not, you are marked. The atmosphere around you has shifted. People will sense something different about you before they can explain why. Mary Magdalene at the tomb, John 20. She's weeping, disoriented, her entire world shattered by grief. Then she turns and sees him, the resurrected Christ. She speaks one word, Rabboni, and in that instant, everything changes. But here's what we don't talk about enough. Mary didn't just walk away relieved. She walked away carrying divine residue. She became the first evangelist of the resurrection, but not because she studied theology, because she encountered the impossible, and it rewired her entire existence. You're walking with that same residue right now. You might feel unsteady. You might feel like you can't quite find your footing. Good. That means heaven left fingerprints all over your life. Let me tell you about Anna. Luke 2:36, 3:8. 84 years old. A widow who never left the temple, fasting and praying night and day for decades. Decades, chosen one. Can you imagine? Year after year after year, believing for something she couldn't see. And then one ordinary morning, she sees the infant Jesus brought into the temple. And the Bible says she gave thanks to God and spoke about the child to everyone who was looking forward to the redemption of Jerusalem. 84 years of waiting. And in one moment, the aftershock of that divine encounter gave her a voice that would echo through history. How long have you been waiting? How many years have you prayed the same prayer, believed the same promise, held on to the same hope while everyone around you moved on with their lives? This is your Anna moment. This is your 84 years was worth it moment. The aftershock you're feeling right now is proof that your waiting wasn't wasted, it was strategic. God doesn't gentlen your life just to gentlen your life. He doesn't interrupt your normal just for dramatic effect. The aftershock is confirmation that something massive just passed through your atmosphere, and the evidence is still reverberating. You're not recovering from the miracle is recovering you. Think about that. All the broken pieces God has been circling for years, the dreams you buried, the callings you silenced, the hope you learned to live without, they're being pulled back together right now, reconstructed, resurrected. You thought you were too old for this. You thought the season for miracles had passed you by. You thought maybe God's big moments were reserved for younger people with more energy, more opportunity, more time. But here's the truth they don't want you to know. God doesn't consult your birth certificate before He moves. He consults your availability. And you, chosen one, you who stayed faithful when it wasn't popular, you who kept praying when the answers went silent, you who held on when letting go would have been easier. You are more available than people half your age who've never known real wilderness. The aftershock is personal. It's not happening to the person next to you. It's not happening in some distant nation or some mega church stage. It's happening in your living room, in your kitchen at 3 a.m., when you can't sleep because something inside you knows. You feel it when you close your eyes. You feel it when you're alone in the car. You feel it in the silence between the noise of everyday life. That's not anxiety. That's divine recalibration. Heaven just dent on your frequency, and now you're operating on a wavelength most people can't even detect. They'll think you're different. They'll say you've changed. They'll wonder what happened to you. Let them wonder, because what happened to you can't be explained in their language. What happened to you requires a testimony, not a theory. What happened to you is the kind of thing that makes people either run toward you for hope or run away from you in fear. Moses wore a veil. Mary ran to tell the disciples. Anna spoke to everyone waiting for redemption. What will you do with your aftershock? If you can still feel the vibration, if right now, in this moment, there's a tremor running through your spirit that you can't explain and can't ignore, then comment below. It's still shaking me. Don't let this moment pass unmarked. Don't let this divine residue evaporate into normal life. Speak it, declare it, anchor it in reality. Because what you're feeling right now is the evidence that heaven didn't just visit you, heaven invaded you. And the aftershock? It's just getting started. Listen carefully, chosen one. What happened to you during the big Sunday wasn't just a blessing, it was an intervention. Heaven didn't send you a greeting card. Heaven didn't whisper encouragement from a distance. No. God reached into the machinery of your soul and rewired you. I know that sounds impossible. I know your rational mind is already resisting, but stay with me, because what I'm about to explain will make sense of everything you've been feeling these past few days. The confusion, the tears, the strange electricity running through your bones at 3 a.m. Think about it like this. When your old heart starts failing, what does the doctor do? He installs a pacemaker, a device that sends electrical impulses, regulating rhythm, keeping you alive when your natural system can't do it alone. That pacemaker doesn't ask permission. It fires, it corrects, it overrides what's broken. That's what happened to you spiritually. Your faith worn down by decades of disappointment, exhausted by unanswered prayers, barely beating after years of not yet received a divine pacemaker. And right now, this very moment, it's sending pulses through every part of you that had flatlined. That's why you've been crying for no reason. That's why you wake up at dawn with tears on your pillow and you can't explain why. That's why memories you buried 40 years ago, losses you thought you'd made peace with, betrayals you'd forgiven and forgotten, are suddenly surfacing like bodies rising from deep water. You think you're losing your mind. You think grief is haunting you again. No, you're not being haunted. You're being healed. When divine voltage meets human memory, everything dormant awakens. The grief you never fully processed, the joy you were too afraid to feel, the gifts you abandoned because nobody affirmed them, the calling you silenced because it seemed too late, too impossible, too embarrassing at your age. All of it is waking up. The Bible says in Ezekiel 36:26, I will give you a new heart and put a new spirit within you. Not fix the old one, not patch it up, replace it entirely. A heart transplant from heaven's operating room, performed while you were sleeping, while you were praying, while you were simply trying to make it through another ordinary Friday. But here's what most people miss. A new heart doesn't just feel different. It functions different. Your spiritual software just got an update in the middle of the night. You didn't download it. You didn't request it. God pushed it through while you were offline, and now you're rebooting with capabilities you didn't have last month. You're about to notice things you never noticed before. Scriptures you've read 100 times will suddenly crack open like geodes, revealing gold you swear wasn't there yesterday. Conversations with strangers will carry weight, synchronicity, divine appointments disguised as coincidence. You'll sense danger before it arrives. You'll feel peace in situations that used to destroy you. This isn't psychology. This isn't positive thinking. This is activation. Romans 12:2 tells us, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Transformed, not inspired, not motivated. Transformed, which means the structure itself changes. The wiring gets rerouted. The limits get removed. And I need you to understand something crucial. This rewiring isn't comfortable. When electricity surges through old circuits, there's heat, there's resistance, there's the smell of something burning away. That burning, it's not you falling apart. It's the old infrastructure being incinerated to make room for the new. That's why you feel exhausted and exhilarated at the same time. That's why you're grieving and hopeful in the same breath. That's why part of you wants to run back to who you were, and another part of you knows you can never fit in that skin again. You've been upgraded, but here's the part that will wreck you. He's not done. The rewiring was phase 1. The installation of new capacity, the clearing out of old blockages, the repair of circuits that shorted out decades ago when life hit you too hard, too fast, too unfairly. But now comes phase 2, operation. You're about to feel stronger than you've felt in 20 years. Not physically, though, some of you will experience that too, but internally. The strength to say no, the strength to walk away, the strength to finally stop carrying people who should have learned to walk on their own. You're about to think clearer. The fog that's clouded your discernment, the confusion that's made you second-guess every decision, the noise that's drowned out God's voice, it's lifting. Clarity is coming like morning sun burning through decades of mist. You're about to love deeper, not the shallow, self-protective love you've been rationing out in teaspoons. The kind of love that terrifies you because it costs something, the kind that makes you vulnerable again, the kind that only people with new hearts can risk. 1 Corinthians 2-9 declares, "Eye has not seen, nor ear heard, nor have entered into the heart of man the things which God has prepared for those who love him." You couldn't have imagined this. You couldn't have engineered this. You couldn't have manifested this with affirmations and vision boards. This is sovereign. This is surgical. This is personal. But I know what you're thinking. How do I know this is real? How do I know I'm not just emotional, not just desperate, not just fooling myself because I need hope so badly? Fair question. And that's exactly why, in just a moment, I'm going to give you the 3 undeniable signs that prove you've been rewired. The evidence that heaven didn't just visit your life, it moved in. The proof that what you're feeling isn't wishful thinking. It's transformation documented in real time. But before we get there, I need you to ask yourself one dangerous question. What if you're not crazy? What if you're being prepared? Listen carefully, chosen one. What happened to you during the big Sunday wasn't just a blessing, it was an intervention. Heaven didn't send you a greeting card. Heaven didn't whisper encouragement from a distance. No, God reached into the machinery of your soul and rewired you. I know that sounds impossible. I know your rational mind is already resisting, but stay with me, because what I'm about to explain will make sense of everything you've been feeling these past few days, the confusion, the tears, the strange electricity running through your bones at 3 a.m. Think about it like this. When your old heart starts failing, what does the doctor do? He installs a pacemaker, a device that sends electrical impulses, regulating rhythm, keeping you alive when your natural system can't do it alone. That pacemaker doesn't ask permission. It fires, it corrects, it overrides what's broken. That's what happened to you spiritually. Your faith worn down by decades of disappointment, exhausted by unanswered prayers, barely beating after years of not yet received a divine pacemaker. And right now, this very moment, it's sending pulses through every part of you that had flatlined. That's why you've been crying for no reason. That's why you wake up at dawn with tears on your pillow and you can't explain why. That's why memories you buried 40 years ago, losses you thought you'd made peace with, betrayals you'd forgiven and forgotten, are suddenly surfacing like bodies rising from deep water. You think you're losing your mind. You think grief is haunting you again. No, you're not being haunted. You're being healed. When divine voltage meets human memory, everything dormant awakens. The grief you never fully processed, the joy you were too afraid to feel, the gifts you abandoned because nobody affirmed them, the calling you silenced because it seemed too late, too impossible, too embarrassing at your age. All of it is waking up. The Bible says in Ezekiel 36-26, "I will give you a new heart and put a new spirit within you." Not fix the old one, not patch it up, replace it entirely. A heart transplant from heaven's operating room, performed while you were sleeping, while you were praying, while you were simply trying to make it through another ordinary Friday. But here's what most people miss. A new heart doesn't just feel different, it functions different. Your spiritual software just got an update in the middle of the night. You didn't download it, you didn't request it. God pushed it through while you were offline, and now you're rebooting with capabilities you didn't have last month. You're about to notice things you never noticed before. Scriptures you've read 100 times will suddenly crack open like geodes, revealing gold you swear wasn't there yesterday. Conversations with strangers will carry weight, synchronicity, divine appointments disguised as coincidence. You'll sense danger before it arrives. You'll feel peace in situations that used to destroy you. This isn't psychology. This isn't positive thinking. This is activation. Romans 12:2 tells us, "Be transformed by the renewing of your mind." Transformed, not inspired, not motivated. Transformed, which means the structure itself changes. The wiring gets rerouted, the limits get removed. And I need you to understand something crucial. This rewiring isn't comfortable. When electricity surges through old circuits, there's heat, there's resistance, there's the smell of something burning away. That burning, it's not you falling apart. It's the old infrastructure being incinerated to make room for the new. That's why you feel exhausted and exhilarated at the same time. That's why you're grieving and hopeful in the same breath. That's why part of you wants to run back to who you were, and another part of you knows you can never fit in that skin again. You've been upgraded. But here's the part that will wreck you. He's not done. The rewiring was phase 1, the installation of new capacity, the clearing out of old blockages, the repair of circuits that shorted out decades ago when life hit you too hard, too fast, too unfairly. But now comes phase 2, operation. You're about to feel stronger than you've felt in 20 years. Not physically, though, some of you will experience that too, but internally. The strength to say no, the strength to walk away, the strength to finally stop carrying people who should have learned to walk on their own. You're about to think clearer. The fog that's clouded your discernment, the confusion that's made you second-guess every decision, the noise that's drowned out God's voice, it's lifting. Clarity is coming like morning sun burning through decades of mist. You're about to love deeper, not the shallow, self-protective love you've been rationing out in teaspoons. The kind of love that terrifies you because it costs something. The kind that makes you vulnerable again. The kind that only people with new hearts can risk. 1 Corinthians 2:9 declares, "Eye has not seen, nor ear heard, nor have entered into the heart of man the things which God has prepared for those who love him." You couldn't have imagined this. You couldn't have engineered this. You couldn't have manifested this with affirmations and vision boards. This is sovereign. This is surgical. This is personal. But I know what you're thinking. How do I know this is real? How do I know I'm not just emotional, not just desperate, not just fooling myself because I need hope so badly? Fair question. And that's exactly why in just a moment, I'm going to give you the 3 undeniable signs that prove you've been rewired. The evidence that heaven didn't just visit your life, it moved in. The proof that what you're feeling isn't wishful thinking. It's transformation documented in real time. But before we get there, I need you to ask yourself one dangerous question. What if you're not crazy? What if you're being prepared? Now listen carefully, because what I'm about to share with you isn't theory, it's proof. Proof that heaven has already touched you. Proof that this big Sunday didn't start when you clicked play. It started weeks ago, maybe months ago, when something inside you began to shift and you couldn't explain why. You've been marked. You've been chosen. And whether you recognized it or not, the divine has been leaving fingerprints all over your life. There are 3 unmistakable signs that you've crossed from waiting into receiving. 3 signals that the old season has died and the new one is breathing. And I promise you at least one of these is happening to you right now. Sign 1, strange stillness. Here's the first sign, and it's going to sound backwards at first. When chaos calls your name, you don't answer anymore. Think about it. There was a time when that phone call, the one from that person, would send your heart racing, your stomach would drop, your peace would shatter like glass hitting concrete. You'd rehearse conversations in your head for hours, lose sleep, spiral into worry. But lately, that same call comes through, and something's different. You're calm, not numb, not pretending, not white-knuckling your way through fake serenity. You're genuinely, inexplicably still. The noise of this world, the drama, the opinions, the emergencies that aren't really emergencies, they don't penetrate anymore. It's like there's an invisible shield around your soul. You're walking through the same storm, but the rain isn't touching you. That's not indifference, chosen one. That's not apathy or emotional shutdown. That's insulation by grace. Psalm 46:10 says, "Be still and know that I am God." But here's what nobody tells you, that stillness isn't something you manufacture, it's something you receive. It descends on you like a blanket when heaven decides you've wrestled long enough. When the chaos of life can no longer steal your peace, that's sign 1. You've been touched. Sign 2. Gentle authority. Here's the second sign, and this one will make you look back at your own words differently. Your voice carries peace now where it used to carry pain. There was a season when you spoke from wounds. Every sentence had an edge. Every conversation felt like a defense. You didn't mean to hurt people, but your words came out sharp because you were bleeding. But something's changed. Now when you speak, even when you're correcting someone, even when you're setting a boundary, there's a gentleness that wasn't there before. It's not weak. It's not passive. It's powerful. It's the kind of voice that makes people stop mid-sentence and listen. The kind of presence that calms a room without saying much at all. Even your silence sounds like prayer now. You know what that reminds me of? Mark 4:39. Jesus stood up in that boat while the storm raged, and he said 3 words, "Peace, be still," and the wind obeyed him. Not because he screamed, not because he begged, because he carried authority that didn't need volume. When your words start bringing peace instead of chaos, when people feel safer after talking to you than they did before, when your presence alone shifts the atmosphere, that's sign 2. You've been anointed with gentle authority. And here's what that means. God isn't just healing you anymore, He's using you. You've become a carrier. Sign 3. Synced timing. Now this third sign, this is where it gets eerie. This is where the mystics and the skeptics part ways. Coincidences start multiplying, but they're not random. They're rhythmic. You're thinking about someone you haven't spoken to in years, and 30 seconds later, your phone buzzes. It's them. You need a parking spot in a packed lot, and right as you turn the corner, someone pulls out. Not just once, repeatedly. You wake up at 3:33 a.m., 4:44 a.m., 11:11 a.m. numbers lining up like soldiers standing at attention. Dreams you forgot about suddenly resurface with clarity. Scriptures you underlined a decade ago leap off the page at the exact moment you need them. Conversations align, opportunities appear, doors you didn't even knock on swing open. And here's the question you need to ask yourself. How many coincidences does it take before you admit it's coordination? Heaven isn't just sending you signs, chosen one. Heaven is syncing with you. Ecclesiastes 3:1 tells us, "To everything there is a season, a time for every purpose under heaven." But what it doesn't say, what you have to experience to understand, is that when your season shifts, time itself behaves differently around you. You stop forcing, you stop chasing, you start flowing. Things that used to take years of struggle suddenly happen in days. People who were supposed to be in your life show up without explanation. Resources appear. Clarity comes. The fog lifts. That's not luck. That's not positive thinking. That's divine order. When your world starts to feel aligned instead of accidental, when synchronicity becomes your new normal, when you stop saying that's weird and start saying that's God, that's sign 3. You're no longer living in random chaos. You're living in orchestrated purpose. Let me bring this together for you. Strange stillness. The peace that defies circumstance. Gentle authority. The voice that heals instead of harms. Synced timing. The universe rearranging itself around your calling. If even one of these signs is showing up in your life right now, you need to understand something. This isn't preparation anymore. This isn't rehearsal. You're already in it. The big Sunday isn't coming. The big Sunday is here. And you, whether you feel ready or not, whether you think you're worthy or not, you're standing in the center of a divine moment that has your name written all over it. So let me ask you directly, do you see the signs? Not with your eyes, with your spirit. If you do, if any part of what I just described is resonating so deeply, It feels like I've been reading your diary then. Type I-S-E, the sins, right now. Don't think about it. Don't wait. Let your faith speak before your doubt gets a word in. Because here's what happens next, and you need to be ready for this. When you acknowledge the signs, when you name what heaven is doing, you don't just observe the miracle. You activate it. Listen to me carefully, because what I'm about to tell you will shake everything you thought you knew about your purpose. You were not only healed on Big Sunday, you were promoted. You think this was just about receiving a blessing, about finally catching a break after years of drought. No. Heaven doesn't operate like that. Heaven doesn't waste resurrections on spectators. When God lifts you out of the pit, He doesn't dust you off just so you can sit pretty. He positions you. He deploys you. You've been assigned new spiritual authority. Your words now carry weight that makes demons flinch. Your presence shifts the atmosphere of rooms before you even speak. People can't explain it, but they feel different when you walk in, lighter, safer, like someone turned on a light they didn't know was missing. You want proof? Look at David. He was anointed privately in his father's house, just a shepherd boy with oil dripping down his face. Nobody saw it happen. But years later, when he stepped onto that battlefield, everyone felt it. Goliath felt it. King Saul felt it. The entire nation of Israel felt the authority that had been growing in secret. Or take Peter. Before Pentecost, he was a fisherman who couldn't even stand up to a servant girl. But after the fire fell, Acts 5:15 tells us his shadow healed the sick. He didn't have to touch them. He didn't have to pray elaborate prayers. His mere presence carried so much authority that people laid their loved ones in the street just hoping he'd walk by. That's not folklore, that's biblical precedent. And it's your blueprint for what happens next. Now I know what you're thinking, but I'm old. My hands shake when I hold my coffee cup. My knees sound like popcorn when I stand up. How am I supposed to carry authority? Let me tell you something that'll make your spirit leap. Your hands may tremble, but heaven steadies them. Your knees may ache, but they still kneel with power that moves mountains. Your voice may crack, but it echoes in realms you can't see. Do you understand what you represent? You've seen too much. You've survived too much. You've buried loved ones, endured betrayals, weathered storms that would have drowned younger souls. You've prayed through nights so dark you couldn't see your own hands lifted in surrender. And you're still here. That's not luck. That's not coincidence. You were preserved. Every scar on your heart, that's a credential. Every tear you cried in secret, that's currency in heaven's economy. Every time you got back up when staying down seemed easier, that was training. Your grey hair is not a sign of aging, it's a crown of accumulated glory. It's proof that you've walked through fire and came out refined, not consumed. The enemy wanted you to think you were being sidelined, that your best years were behind you, that younger voices mattered more. But here's the truth that'll make hell nervous. You were not forgotten, you were being forged. And now, right now, on this big Sunday, heaven is saying, it's time. Time for what? Time to step into the authority you didn't know you carried. Time to speak life over situations that look dead. Time to walk into rooms and watch confusion flee. Time to lay hands on your grandchildren and release generational blessings that'll ripple for 100 years. But here's what you need to understand. Authority isn't theoretical. It's not something you frame on your wall. It's something you activate. And in just a few minutes, I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. Not in some abstract, mystical way, but in concrete, practical steps you can take today, right where you're sitting. Because the question isn't whether you have this authority. The question is, what will you do now that you know? Chosen one, we've walked a sacred journey together today. Let me remind you of what you need to hold on to as you step forward from this moment. You were not only blessed on this big Sunday, you were commissioned. You carry authority that heaven has placed upon your shoulders. Your words matter. Your presence shifts atmospheres. Your prayers move mountains. And your season of almost has finally given way to now. This isn't theory. This isn't motivational fluff to make you feel good for an hour. This is biblical truth, backed by the same power that raised Jesus from the grave, the same fire that fell at Pentecost, the same authority that turned fishermen into world changers. But I need you to hear this clearly. You are not alone in this. God has not brought you this far to abandon you now. He's been working behind the scenes of your life, in the delays, in the closed doors, in the seasons that felt like wilderness. Every single moment was preparation for what He's releasing right now. And beyond God's faithfulness, there's something else I want you to know. You're part of a community. Thousands of people are watching this message right now, and many of them are fighting the exact same battles you are. They've felt the same doubt. They've cried the same tears. They've whispered the same midnight prayers. You are surrounded by a family you've never met, but who understands your journey. So let me ask you something, and I want you to really sit with this question. If God has truly positioned you for this moment, if He's genuinely placed new authority in your hands, what will you do with it starting today? Not tomorrow. Not when you feel more ready. Not when circumstances look better. Today. Now, before you go, I want to pray over you. Not a quick, obligatory prayer, but a prayer that reaches into the deepest parts of your spirit. So wherever you are, whether you're sitting in your living room, lying in a hospital bed, or standing in your kitchen, I want you to receive this. Close your eyes if you can. Take a deep breath. And know that I'm speaking these words directly over your life. Father God, I come before you right now on behalf of every person hearing my voice. Lord, you know their names. You know the weight they've been carrying, the burdens they haven't spoken out loud, the fears that wake them at 3 a.m., the dreams they've been too afraid to hope for. I thank you that this big Sunday isn't just another day on the calendar. It's a divine appointment. It's the moment you've been preparing them for through every trial, every setback, every season of waiting. Lord, I pray that you would seal this word into their hearts. Let it take root so deep that doubt can't uproot it. Let it grow so strong that fear can't choke it out. Remind them today and every day that they are chosen, they are called, and they are covered by your hand. For those watching who feel too old, too tired, too broken, God, breathe fresh life into their bones. Let them feel your strength rising in their weakness. Let them know that their best years are not behind them, but unfolding right now. Open doors that no man can shut, clear paths that seem impossibly blocked. Send divine connections, supernatural provision, and miracles that can only be explained by your power. Protect them from the enemy's lies. Silence every voice that says they're disqualified, too late, or forgotten. Let them hear only your voice saying, "Well done, good and faithful servant." Now watch what I do next. And Father, give them courage. Courage to step into the authority you've placed upon them. Courage to speak life when everything around them whispers death. Courage to believe for the impossible. Cover their families. Bless their homes. Surround them with your peace that transcends all understanding. And let them walk forward from this moment, knowing that you are with them, you are for them, and you will never leave them. In the mighty name of Jesus, I pray. Amen. Now, I want to hear from you. Don't just watch this and walk away. This community thrives because we share, we testify, we encourage each other. Type Amen in the comments if this word resonated with your spirit. Tell me what part hit you the hardest. Share your testimony if God's already been moving in your life. And if you're struggling right now, if you need prayer, say it. Don't carry it alone. We're here. We'll stand with you. And please, if this message stirred something in you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Your aunt who's been discouraged. Your friend who's lost hope. That person God just brought to your mind, send this to them. You might be the vessel God uses to deliver their breakthrough. If you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, do it now. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a message. This isn't just content. This is spiritual ammunition for your journey. And we're building a family here, a community of believers who refuse to give up. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching all the way to the end. Thank you for letting me speak into your life today. You are loved. You are seen. You are not forgotten. And your big Sunday has only just begun. Go in peace. Walk in power. And remember, you were not forgotten. You were preserved. God bless you.